That now brings us to our council reports. Councilman Emanuel.
I hope all of you had a chance to come out to the Star Spangled 4th on the 31st. And we had a spectacular fireworks display, groundbreaking for the Veterans Memorial, and I think everybody had a good time. We were there till 1 in the morning cleaning up firework residue. So if anybody ever says, hey, can I launch some fireworks in your backyard, make sure they have a cleanup crew to come by. It's unbelievable how much trash those things blow off. The entire parking lot behind the Baptist church was covered with this stuff, and there were a number of people out there. Kelly McAloon led the charge, and we were there, as I said, 1 in the morning cleaning up. But I think it was well worth it because it was such a great event. This Wednesday will be the 12th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. And while we may have some problems here in the city, I think everybody needs to reflect on what those 9/11 attacks meant, what's still out there, and the fact that over 3,000 innocent Americans were killed. And just something to think about, and just be thankful that we haven't had any attacks. We've had attempts, but no attacks since where there's been any great loss of life. So this Wednesday, I think, just take some time to reflect on that and how fortunate we are.
I have no report per se, but I'd like to make a comment. I am working on 3 issues, and I want to assure the citizens and taxpayers that I am working on 3 different issues, but I don't have anything to report on them. But I'd also like to say that I'm working on the issues, but I would get nowhere on these issues for the city without the help of our city clerk, Melissa Arnold, police chief, the city manager, Lieutenant McKinney, our city attorney, Tony Powell, and Officer Linda Nixon, who have worked extremely hard helping me with the issues that I'm working on. And because of 9/11, it makes me work harder and harder every day on the coop, so that when the coop's completed, the city of Snellville will be protected. Thank you.
How y'all doing, Erica? Yeah, please, if you can put that up for me just a second. Go ahead and just start it. We'll just start with the pictures. I'm going to follow it with Dave. I'm going to take care of your pictures for you tonight. So, as Dave mentioned earlier, we did have the ceremony to get ready for the groundbreaking for the Veterans Memorial. And it's a rather common theme for me to be sitting here and talking about it. I picked out just a few of the pictures. There was some great attendance, but I'll fire the next one up there. The young kids from, the young adults, I should say, from Snellville Middle came over and, you know, did their thing on the singing. We had the color guard there. Again, when you talk about community, and, you know, Dave's conversation just a second ago about 9/11, you know, that statement right there is just freedom is never free. You know, it cost us 3,000 lives plus on that fateful day in September in 2001. So if you wake up with a sense of feeling a little bit like we need to be thankful, that's probably the reason that morning. So, but again, the Veterans Memorial is going to be an absolute wonderful thing for our city, so we continue to want to do that. So, Eric, if you would just throw that up there. We'll talk about September 21st. We've got a couple of things going on at Briscoe Park. We have Around the World Visit Snellville. We had our first annual last year. And on the tail end of that, we've got a movie that night too. So Kelly McAloon has figured out how to put 29 hours in a day, for crying out loud. I don't know how she does it, but she does. But one of the other things that we want to celebrate today is that on September 21st, Gwinnett Animal Hospital, located here in our city, is going to celebrate their 40th anniversary. How many of you have pets? Not including your husbands. So, come on, guys. Y'all are there? Are y'all there? Hello. You know, for any business to be anywhere for 40 years is a wonderful achievement. But a local business here, you know, in Snellville, in our city, is 40 years is great. So I'd like to invite you out at their request to the September 21st open house and then basically anniversary celebration. And then we're going to come back on the following Monday and issue a proclamation recognizing that achievement as well. So we want to invite everybody out for that too. A couple of things from earlier. You know, we talked about, you know, amending our minutes and doing things, and Tony was very eloquent in talking about how we go about adjusting things when we don't exactly get it right. Well, one of the things that we can do is that we make sure we do get it right, and that when, you know, and things happen. You know, a nomination for a position that doesn't exist, it happens. We're just going to fix it. That's all. So we just really want to do that. And when it's done, we just, you know, take the appropriate measure and get it right. That's all. Talking about the mobile stage and what we've done there, I don't think there's a member on this dais up here that hasn't used that stage for one of their events. So I'm personally proud of the fact that we invested what I think is a tremendous asset to our city that promotes our city, that allows us to do the things that we do within our city, that other cities are just absolutely, hey, we'd love to use that thing. You know, we have done that there, haven't we, Mr. Powell? So, so when we're doing some really good things, and that's really the point of that conversation. But again, everybody be safe traveling home tonight. Thank y'all all for giving me the opportunity to be here and sit here, and just travel safe going home. Thanks. And shop local. I got to get that out.
Thank you. First of all, about Mr. Anderson, I want to again thank Attorney Powell for what he said tonight. I feel better for my wife than I do myself. I mean, you know, when you sign up to be a politician, especially in Snellville, where I was told when I got into it, it was a full contact sport. You set yourself up for ridicule and criticism. My wife never set herself up for that. There's no reason for her to have all those papers with her names on them spread all over the city with her social security number on it. I mean, you know, that I take umbrage to what he did. That just wasn't right. That our spouses are not part of this. But I'm glad it's over. And I know that she'll be real glad it's over. As far as the Oak Grove Park tonight, there's a few things I wanted to say when the mayor finished what she said. First of all, the stage that we're supposed to spend the Oak Road money on, we spent $107,000 on that stage. We had $110,000 in the budget that year for improvements to the town green. We were going to build a permanent stage there. It was decided by the council that rather than put the permanent stage, we'd buy the mobile stage so it could be used in different parts of the city for different events, and we never touched the park money. Secondly, just a difference between philosophies. I suppose the mayor's right. We could take the $660,000 for the park and additional $690,000 for the road or for the sidewalks, which is probably closer to $1 million now. And we could probably, you know, we could take that $1.7 million, build that park and those sidewalks. That's one way to do it. I prefer that we get the county involved and we let them pay half of it, and that we do it in stages so that the city can, you know, we see the value, the way I think we needed to do it, where we get our credit score up, they get those credit points up so that when we get 50% of those sidewalks paid for by somebody else. That's what I think we need to do, and that's what I'm doing. And to my knowledge, tonight was the first time that any funding actual an actual resolution excuse me, for spending money has ever been brought to this dais. No one's ever, I've heard this, well, they wouldn't do away. No, I've never voted on sidewalks for Oak Road. No one's ever come to me and discussed sidewalks on Oak Road. I had homeowners over there and the associations come to me. I went to the county commissioner, worked it out, decided it was something that I want to get behind and get done, and I brought it to the dais where I'm supposed to do. So this is the first time that's come before for a vote in front of this body. So you know, just we want to get things done in the city. We want to do them right. We don't take things on that we know we can't produce. If I tell you we're going to do something, I have a track record with you all by now. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it till I get it done. And now the Oak Road sidewalks and the Oak Road Park are the things that I'm going to get done. Thank you.
Councilman Sabag.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel happy. We didn't have a whole lot of fireworks tonight here, and I'm hopeful that we're doing it right. Let's continue doing that. Teacher of the Year award. I went over to South Gwinnett High School, and I'd like to congratulate publicly Mr. Terry Moten for receiving the Teachers of the Year. And on Friday night, I wanted to go watch the football game. What a beautiful stadium! I haven't been there for a little while, and great night, great evening, and we won. South Gwinnett had done a fantastic job, great team, and a wonderful place. And I encourage you to go in there and sit on the bleachers out there, meet the community. This is a great place to be out there, meeting the teachers, meeting the individuals out there. What a great evening. I want to echo some of the comments that were mentioned here tonight. Fantastic time at the groundbreaking memorial. The rain did not make us slow down. We went with full force on that. Music was fantastic. I enjoyed that a whole lot. I met with a couple of citizens this weekend, and I'd just like to say a couple of quick words. I have learned a lot about the community and some of the grave needs that are out there. And I do appreciate these phone calls and these emails that came in, and meeting with them, walking down the sidewalk and figure out how traffic moves and what are the dangerous aspects of it, how we can improve the city, etc. And that was an eye-opening experience, and I do appreciate the email message and the invite to make that walk over in our city. And I promise to follow through with what I saw, that I thought it was absolutely an important element. And again, my hat's off to all the contributors that have helped make the city the great city that we learn to live and learn to love. And that's my report tonight.
Now for the mayor's report. Couple of things before I get into my pictures, if you'll hold just a second. I want to clarify, the Oak Road Passive Park's not going to cost $600,000 for the park and $600,000 for the sidewalks. It's going to cost a total of $600,000. Also want to comment on something Councilman Witt said about Snellville politics being a full contact sport. I think Councilman Howard has alluded to this in the last two meetings, and both of these gentlemen have complained about what Mr. Anderson did, and I've been the victim, same as Tony, with some long phone conversations with Mr. Anderson. So I'm as happy as probably Tony is to see this case go away. But you know, Councilman Witts and Councilman Howard like to stand up here and say that it's not right and it's not fair. Well, it's not right and it's not fair for the things that they do either. Councilman Witts and Councilman Emanuel were on statewide television accusing me of not something they had proof of, but speculation that they think I committed a crime or lied on court documents, things that are blatantly false, things that caused my mother to not want to leave the house for weeks on end and was in tears. Well, that's not fair to her, Councilman Witts. Yours is something that you admitted. You stood up here from the dais and admitted that you hadn't paid your taxes. And that's not fair. You shouldn't have been treated that way. But it's not fair for you to throw speculation at something that is just blatantly false. So I'll get off my soapbox now and on to more positive things. The Star Spangled Snellville was a great event. The Snellville Middle School JLC was there to help with the flag and the national anthem. They were very nervous. You could hear them say, over here, this, that, but they looked great. So I wanted to show everyone how fabulous they looked in their uniforms. They did a great job, so thank you to all the middle school kids for their hard work. I, too, like Councilman Sabag, was able to attend the Teacher of the Year ceremony at South Gwinnett High School last week. Want to congratulate Terry Mooten, who is this year's South Gwinnett High School Teacher of the Year. Also, Scott Allen, Mr. Allen, that works with us in our Shark Tank, our entrepreneurship program, was a finalist, along with Karen Brown. And so thank you to both of them for all their hard work. Schools, even though the city has no control over our school systems affect our community greatly. At the next council meeting, like I did last year, I'll be inviting all of the Teacher of the Years from the local schools in Snellville to come, and we'll be honoring them with a proclamation. I also had to share this adorable little girl. She is a first grader here in Snellville. She's doing a project on community helpers. Chief, she maybe came over to see you. She was going to see the police department after speaking to me, but it was just really refreshing to hear what she thought a mayor did from a first grader's perspective. So I wanted to say thank you to Ms. Voldy for bringing a smile to my face last week. Also, I want to welcome, I don't have the pictures back yet, but Friday, Deborah Neal Blunt opened a nationwide insurance agency here in the city limits of Snellville. Was honored along with Councilman Sabag to do her ribbon cutting on Friday. She opened up in Wisteria, off of Wisteria Road in the office complex there. And so I want to welcome her to Snellville and wish her the best of luck. And also Eddie McFarland has opened a fast signs in the shopping center next to Pizza Hut on on Oak Road and 124. He'll be having his ribbon cutting in the coming weeks, and so welcome to Eddie at Fast Signs. That is it. I will now open it to public comment.
Dennis Lawton, 3041 Alta Ridge Way. I've sat out here and listened to all of you talk about Oak Road Park. 10 years ago, I was around listening to the same thing about buying Oak Road Park and getting the funds for it. 10 years has gone by. So it hasn't been a priority on anybody's part on this council or anything until just recently when someone decided, Mr. Witts decided maybe it becomes more of a priority, maybe it doesn't. But I haven't seen anybody really stand up for this park, for the sidewalks or anything out, to get the monies for it. I have not seen any paperwork, I've not seen anything, and yet I've attended for the past 20 years most of the council meetings. So I'm disappointed to hear that we've got the money, but we didn't spend it. Well, it doesn't sound like we had the money or that it was a priority in the overall picture in the best benefit of the city. Mr. Oberholzer, the mayor at the time, had an opportunity. That's the number one thing. Had an opportunity to take funds and buy a piece of property that was a future park. 20 years ago, I can remember somebody wanting to buy a farm, 25 acres out on there, and we wouldn't spend the money because we didn't want to be able to do it. We didn't think we could do it in that time period on, not Ridgedale, but Pinehurst. So what we have is priorities. The one thing that I heard tonight too is we took money maybe and bought a stage out of funds that was there. Yet maybe I hear that it was set aside, but we took monies. I heard on one comment. But my concern is, was it for the betterment to spend the money on the stage rather than a mobile stage? I've attended events in the past year that I've seen crowds that I've never seen in the 20 years I've been in Snellville to attend events. That's because of all the volunteers and because of these programs that have been put in effect by stats and other things that have been promoted. But that mobile stage up there has presented an opportunity for bands and concerts and farmers market, the dog show. I was just there on Saturday. It was much easier to go up there and watch the people in front of that crowd and bring their dogs in front of a portable stage rather than, oh, well, we got to do it over here, we got to do it there. The fireworks, I attended the fireworks, you know. They had a great band there going at one end, but the fireworks were not at that end. They were sitting over there over by the Baptist church, so you could hear the band playing from that portable stage and enjoy the whole show. So what we've got to do in this city, and whether you're on the council today or tomorrow or in the future, let's look at the city as a whole rather than a specific neighborhood, a specific deal. What it does is we've got people that need it all. We've got 18 to 20,000 people that we've got to satisfy. That we got to remember that we can't be the small group. We've got to look at the big picture. A vision for this city is important. We've got major issues that are coming up there that I haven't heard anybody talk about on this council or anything like that about the town center. We talk about the LCI. That's just a small phase of a town center. That just gets some streets in there. But that's a start. But what are we doing about how are we going to attract businesses to the town center if we don't have the ordinances in place, if we don't have the building codes in place for that particular area of the city? So what are we doing about it? Who is promoting that? Who stood up here and done anything about that I've heard about? Yet it's a major issue. We talk about the big intersection that I've heard at various work councils. Yet it could come in here and the DOT could say, we've got the money, we're going to do it, but are we ready? We better be. Because if we don't, we've got a lot of areas that are going to be really in serious problems for the town center as well as businesses. So let's look at the big picture and be right in that. We look at the dollars and cents, but let's use those dollars and cents at a critical time. You know, we just went through 4 or 5 years of really serious times when you were trying to struggle to figure out how you're going to make your budget for this city and provide the services for me as a citizen. You're still going to do that. We haven't got over that. Home prices haven't gone up that much in Snellville. So there isn't that much more dollars that the city manager has to spend in creating a budget. So please, let's look at the big pictures. Let's look at what we've done in the past, but we also got to look at what are we going to do in the future. I'd like to hear what are we going to do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawton. Any other public comment?
Jamie Dempsey, 430 Crested View Drive, Loganville. This evening is the first that I've heard about a ribbon cutting in the city of Snellville this last Friday. As a representative of the business community of Snellville, that kind of concerns me, and I'd like to once again request that the council would allow the Chamber of Commerce, the organization that represents the business community in Snellville, to do its job. That does include ribbon cuttings. That does include a lot of that stuff. There's a relationship that exists and is very important between the government and the business community, and your Chamber of Commerce is the conduit through which that happens. Really, I'm up here because, you know, I have to speak personally. I volunteer between 20 and 35 hours every single week to help support, grow, and build the business community within your city. I don't live in your city. And yet, that's just me personally, not to mention the other volunteers and the other board members and people that work very hard, very diligently to support your business community. And Mayor, Council, we've had some conversations here, there, and this isn't the first time I've been up here asking this. I would humbly request that we work together and allow us to do our job. And I thank you very much.
Mr. Dempsey,
Yes, ma'am.
couple of things. First of all,
Yes, ma'am.
your Chamber of Commerce is not the official Chamber of Commerce of our city. It never has been declared as such. In the past couple of months, there have been ribbon cuttings in the city where you have attended and the Chamber of Commerce has attended, and the mayor, I don't know about the council, but I know that the mayor hasn't been notified. So the same, if there's a ribbon cutting going on, we would ask for the same respect. The ribbon cutting we went to Friday,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
lady had spoken to you. You had actually talked to her about joining your organization, or at least to her husband, and they have not decided if they wanted to get involved or not. But we did tell them that you were an organization along with the Snellville Commerce Club. So please don't jump to conclusions.
And if I may address the one thing that you brought up, Mayor. In our organization, there is one key contact for every entity, every business, every organization that is a member of the Greater Eastside Chamber of Commerce. That entity gets an email every Monday or Tuesday telling people what's going on over the next couple of weeks, and so that people can put things on their calendars. Also, anyone else who is not the key contact within an entity, and not even necessarily a member of the Chamber of Commerce, anyone who would like to be on that mailing list is welcome to do so. It's right there on the homepage of our website. Add us to your mailing list. I know that information has gone out to both mayor and council over the last several years. And Kelly, I don't know if specifically if you ended up getting that message, months or years ago or what have you. But that information is out there. It is also, all these events are front and center on our Facebook page as well. We typically put them on the Snellville Where Everybody's Proud Facebook page and a lot of things. So there are of course several ways that you guys can get the information that you need. Thank you.
Mr. Dempsey, hang on one second.
Councilman Howard, this is not a time for council comments.
I think you just made a comment, so I'd like
The
to say.
public comments go between the mayor and the public. All their public comments are addressed to the mayor. This is not your time if you want to speak to
Jamie,
him
I'm
after
going
the
to publicly
meeting.
thank you for your service as a volunteer to this city. I want to publicly say thank you.
Thank you.
Additional public comment.
I don't want to throw a wrench in anything. I just want to ask, is the plan for the Oak Road Park online, or can I have a copy of the map that came out today?
The master plan is online.
It is online,
Yes,
okay.
State your name and address for the record. I'm sorry.
Tricia Rollins, 2088 Harbor Oaks Drive. I came forth tonight because a friend of mine has become the guardian of the property that is east of the Passive Park, which is a large field, which she has concerns with people coming into that property and parking, and she will be looking at her interest as a guardian for that property as far as a fence and a barrier and something that will keep people from coming in on that land. So I just want to get a copy of that so that I can hand it to her. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment?
Hi, Kathy Emanuel, 1313 Temple Johnson Road, Loganville, Georgia. I'm hungry, so this will be quick. 2 weeks from tomorrow night, September 24th, I'd like to just remind all of you, it's Snellville Public Safety Night on the town green. It's put on by the Snellville Police Department and the Alumni Association. There will be a lot of exhibitors there, including Code Red, the Veterans Memorial. There will be canine demonstrations, personal defense demonstrations. The entire event is about safety, personal safety, your home safety, financial safety, driving safely. There will be several organizations there, obviously against driving and texting at the same time. So please come out. It's from 6 to 9? 8. 6 to 8, thank you. 6 to 8, September 24th. Thank you very much.
Additional public comment.
Good evening, I'm Barbara Bender, 3095 Zermatt Way. Just came up tonight to address an issue that had arisen at the last council meeting when I gave a report from the Snellville Entrepreneur Council. The question was raised by the mayor on whether I had to resign my position on my board. And this opinion by the city attorney was handed out tonight at the work session, and I just wanted to put it on the record. There was a lot of media attention about the question that had come up, and just felt it was only fair that we get what the truth is out there, that in the city attorney's opinion, none of the provisions of the charter apply to me specifically. I'm not the mayor, a sitting council member, point of officer or employee of the city. Based on the list provided in the charter, the only appointed officers serving the city are the city attorney, city clerk, and the city manager. From the bylaws that we have on our organization, the SEC is an independent nonprofit organization, and the code and the charter have no impact or authority over our organization. So I just wanted to clarify that publicly, that there is no issue here, although with all the media attention, unfortunately, it took away from what the report was about, in that we're doing great things to help support our entrepreneurs here in the city. But I did just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Additional public comment. Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion of our meeting. And during the public hearing of the mayor and council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Couts announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting to discuss pending and or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions which is exempt from the Open Meetings Act pursuant to OCGA Section 50-14-2, subsection 1. Upon a motion of Councilmember Sabag, seconded by Councilmember Emanuel. The meeting was closed with the following council members and the mayor present and voting. Mayor Couts, yes. Councilman Emanuel. Yes. Councilman Howard. Yes. Councilwoman Kraus. Yes. Councilman Sabag. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Witz. Yes. We will reconvene in about 2 minutes in the conference room. I don't expect any action coming from this meeting. You all have a good evening and safe trip home.